Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to Sacred Parrot. I'm RK, and I hope that you guys are having an awesome and splendid day today. I am very excited because today is Saturday, and I get to have a wonderful doll chat with my gal pal, Panic Pixie Dolls, and she's on here right now. If you guys are familiar with her page, then you are totally familiar with Jolene and her life story and just like showing us what it was like to be in high school again and having those fun memories. So I'm gonna bring her on here right now. We also have something that we want to talk to you guys about. So let me invite you on my fall Saturday. I just sent in the invite, so it should be coming through. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
It's good seeing you too. Oh goodness, I'm excited. I'm so excited. Also, on top of that, I forgot to say today is the second day of your Halloween party.
Yes. So come and join us.
Yes. How's that going?
It's so much fun. I love seeing everybody's costumes.
I'm enjoying the photos. Okay, so I know we got our doll surprise that we're gonna talk about, but since we're talking about the Halloween party, how did you come up with this concept? Because when I first saw it and it said literary characters, I was like, oh, which fits so well with your page.
It does.
You know what I mean? But I was like, wow, where did you get that concept from?
I don't know. When I've been writing my story throughout the years, Jolene always had a Halloween party with different themes. I think this was one of my favorite themes, so
I like it. I like it. And when you said it, Justin, because I did my three gals over here as like the three brides of Dracula. And you were like, oh, that's gonna fit well with Justin and Mary. And I saw them and I was like, oh yeah, I see it. So yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, you need to head on over to the page. One, and then two, get your dolls dressed and ready and get them photographed. Hopefully as a literary character. If not, they can still join, right?
absolutely, yeah. Plus, almost everyone has been written about somewhere.
That is so true. That is so true. I think it was Scarlet Strange page. And so she had Scarlet, she had what's name dressed as like Sherlock Holmes. And then she had Wanda as, the Scarlet Witch because she's in the comic book. And so I was like, oh, yeah, that definitely counts. It's still.
Oh, great.
It really was. I'm enjoying everyone's stuff, though. I'm so glad that you had it. It's fun. It's always fun to join these Halloween parties and different parties.
Yeah.
So, like I said, today, though, we have some really good information to give to you guys. And I'm actually going to let you present it because you commented on one of my photos. And you had said, like, here goes an idea. And I thought about it and I was like, this is golden. Yes. Let's do this.
Yeah, because we wanted to have a space or a hashtag where we could find each other, because we're like a niche within a niche. And there's not a lot of us, and it's hard. I've had people ask me, where's more people doing this? And I'm like, they're out there. It's just hard to find all of them.
Exactly. And we're talking about us who are storytellers.
Yeah.
It is really, really hard to find other stories.
It is.
But we are out there. And so we want to be able to find each other.
Yeah. So you and I came up with the hashtag Dollstagram Stories. And if everyone starts using this hashtag, then we'll be able to.
We can find each other, and be able to find new. Exactly. Be able to find new accounts, or someone that's probably been out there for a while and just we were not familiar with their account.
Yeah,
I love it.
Me too. And then
so that's our big reveal.
Yes. Ta-da.
It's hashtag. I'll put it in the caption, and now that they got the collab, which I love on here, I'll collab this video. And so like the caption will be, it'll be the hashtag inside the caption, Dollstagram Stories. So let us know, let us know in the comment. Let us know right now. Thank you for joining Ash Harbor. Let us know, and yours says Ash Harbor Story. And that's what we're talking about, being storytellers. let us know what you guys think. Is this something that you guys agree with, that you want to do? Because they have so many different accounts with, different photos, and we appreciate all of them. It's just really hard if you're wanting to find, the soap opera, the soap opera of the doll world.
Yes.
And we have, I think, what was it? They just had an awards for like different accounts for fashion and all the other accounts, which is great, but none of our Instagram people who do stories were in it.
Yeah. I think part of the problem is that people come to Instagram just to scroll through they go for the museum where you walk around, you see the photos, the pictures, but they're not going to the library, which is kind of what we provide as the library. And
Yes.
yeah, so if we say other librarians, other authors were here's the library, that might help.
I love it. So it's hashtag Instagram stories. And we're going to be putting that in our caption. And it's just something for us to use so that we can find each other.
Yeah.
And then eventually, who knows, we can have our own awards, shows and stuff, and be able to, put in the different accounts that have the different doll stories, and be able to let it grow.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. So brilliant idea. I was like, we got to do a live. We got to talk about it. And I'm so glad that you're on here. And then on top of that, of course, you have your Halloween story and the Halloween party itself. So head over to it. I had told you with my ladies, and I was so upset because I really did like the pictures I had of them as witches, and I had the cauldron and everything, and had it in black and white. I was like, yes. And then I studied up on the play that shall not be mentioned by name. And I was just like, oh no, like they're really, it may be superstitious, but I really do believe when they talked about all the different issues as far as the play having a curse. I was like, no. I love anything William Shakespeare. I do. I was so hurt. And I'm talking, I guess I'll say the name, Macbeth. I'm talking about Macbeth. I was really, really hurt. So I had my girls originally dressed as the witches, and I was hurt.
I still want to see those photos.
I can send it to you, but yeah, I was hurt. I was like, no, because it's so much that's built off of this prophecy, and just the whole concept of trying to control your own destiny. And that's why I enjoyed the play. And I felt that the witches were really the protagonists of it. I mean, they were really the main character, although we only see them a little.
Yeah.
But when I heard about the curse and the people who have literally died doing the production, I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. Even a dog got hit. I was like, oh, my gosh, like the owner of the theater's dog got hit. And I think it was like in the 1700s or 1800s that happened. But they said from the very first production, there was issues. The guy that was supposed to play Lady Macbeth in the very first production got sick and died, like suddenly. And then Shakespeare had to play the role. I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy. So, yeah, I didn't. I was like, oh, let's just find something else. And I already had the photos, and I went with the what is it, the Dracula's brides, and I loved it. Like I said, now had you not had this event, would I have known to even look up about Macbeth? No. So that's the awesome thing about whenever we have these events, and the topic that you had, the theme that you had, it just makes us search even more into our literary, books and characters and stuff.
Yes. I did some of that too. I had to find costumes for all my characters, and then I was like, you know what, these people can be off screen, they'll just be costumes in another room. Honey, I'm on a live right now, okay? Go tell daddy. Okay, I'm on a live right now. Sorry. So
you're fine. My kiddos are right upstairs. Actually, I just already had two go to the bathroom, and then they went right back up. So
he's been sick, so he's bad.
Is it?
He's better. His fever broke finally.
Yay. Yay. Yeah, we had two households that have been like under the weather. You can probably still hear it with me. I've been like trying not to cough because I still got the cough going on. We had two people come in to do the oven today. This is like a side note. But we had two people come in to move in a new oven, and I was coughing, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Because now you cough, it's like
Yeah. It's like,
people are just kind of like, "Why are you coughing?" So I was
run
just like,
away.
I was trying to hold it. Was trying to hold it, but I couldn't. I was trying to drink the ginger tea and stuff. I'm like, let me drink this tea. But oh yeah, it's been ugly. I don't know what exactly is circulating right now, but it's a nasty bug.
It is. It's terrible. And it lingers.
And just like when you think that you're done with it, it's like, oh man, I got a headache, or you feel something all over again. Like you said, it feels like it comes right back again.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to work through it and rest and liquids, you know. So of course prayer,
Yeah.
good thought to get through it. Yeah, yeah, because it's been ugly. And I'm reading, and talking to different people, and we're all in different states and we're getting hit with it. So it's definitely a nasty bug going on.
Definitely. Yeah, because we're across the country from each other, I think.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have 3 hours in between us.
Yeah.
We do, we do, we do. But I'm glad. I'm really, really glad to hear this fever broke, because it's nothing like. It's one thing if you have a fever as an adult, but then when your babies have it, it's like it's real. I don't care how old they are. It's hard to deal with because you don't want them to not feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get very freaked out with a fever. I'll admit I do. I'm like, oh, it's 101. Like it freaks me out. You we go to the hospital. What do we do? And my husband, he's more calm, so he balances me. It's like it's okay. We'll monitor it. It's low grade. Let's just watch it go down, and it helps having someone even minded. Because when you're more sporadic and more hyper and more anxious, you need someone who's more level ground, and that's what I get with him. So it helps, and that's something to think about. Like whenever you have your characters, since we're talking about stories, being able to have that level ground of balance.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about your stories, we see that really, really defined with Mary and Justin. You know how much I love Jolene and I love Anthony. There's just certain spice with Mary, and I mean, like, I would never put them together as a couple, but it works so good.
I
It
didn't
works so
think as
good.
a couple at first, like because I've had this story all written out for years, and then as I've been putting it out, I've been changing it and developing it even more, and I put them together, and I love them together.
For real, especially but I love, you guys just have to check out the story. You have to. You have it. And even if you haven't, you've been keeping up with it like me, then you just got to go right back and read it. Because I love how you develop Justin so much. I mean, even with Mary, but as far as he kind of seemed like a little prick at first to me. He really did. I didn't really like Justin. I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. And then he went through, you had us go through everything with him becoming sober, because I didn't even know that was an issue for him. But then when you brought that in, it was like you added this humane dimension to him. So it wasn't like he was just a tool anymore. He had layers and he had dimension, and you could relate to him, because all of us have met someone who's had to go through some type of sobriety journey, or you've heard of someone who's gone through it. So when you saw that, you got a chance to see him do some evolving and him learning how to accept his new role and new position, and then accepting her for who she was. And I was like, wow, I love how you did that.
Thank you.
I do. I love your page. So I do. I love your page. So I enjoy it. Your page and a few other people are the pages that I'm not going to read through your page when I'm just making food. Like I want to sit down and savor what I'm reading, because I enjoy it on that level. So I'm like, okay, when all the kids are quiet and they're sitting down, or even if they're kind of like making their own noise, when I get that, your page is part of my me time. Like that's part of my, like, I'm sitting down, I'm going to read this, and then so I can just like enjoy it. I enjoy your page. I do. I enjoy it. Are there any updates that you want to share with us about Jolene and Anthony? Anything we need to watch out for? I saw Matt at the party. I was like,
He's at the party. He brought a date. So watch out for her because she's not happy. But none of Matt's dates are ever happy.
they're not. They're not. But
Not.
it's interesting because when he was at was it Hardee's and he said that he had a date in Britt. Oh my God, Britt! She reminds me. So I went to Sacred Heart here in Kentucky, and it's an all-girl Catholic school. And I swear to goodness, I knew at least like 6 or 7 Brits.
Yes.
When I read Brit, I'm like, oh my God, it's like one of my school buddies back in the day. She trips me out. She trips me out because she's like one of those people when she connects with you, she doesn't have to warm up. This is just who she is. She trips me out. Like she really, really does. And her being on a petite body, like it just works. Everything it just works with her. But she does. She makes me laugh. She makes me laugh. And she's just as devious as she wants to be.
Yes.
She's great. She's great. I'm glad that you added her in. And if anything now, like what Karen just did with the bracelet,
I'm on a live.
I was like, oh snap, because you know, Jolene is pretty much a calm character. So I don't even think even when the truth comes out, you know, I doubt Jolene's probably gonna get mad at that. But I'm like, Britt, on the other hand.
You'd have to watch out for Brit. No, but that bracelet is gonna cause a lot of drama coming up. Things
Karen,
get nuts.
oh my goodness. One, we are getting a lot of people saying yes, they are loving this idea. Thank you guys. Thank you for commenting. Hola, how are you? That sounds fun. So there's a lot of people loving the hashtag idea. And someone said that Karen is a Hagatha. Karen is a trip. And I believe what really makes your story stick out so much for all of us is that you have, in the most artistic way, created characters that are different with their personality. It's like, it's wonderful.
Thank you.
It really is. Yes, definitely. Go wait. I mean, don't wait. Go read it. Go read it as soon as the live is over. I'm going to click off this phone real quick. I'm sorry, man.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I had to click off the phone. But yeah, don't wait. Just go read it after the live because it's very, very good. And make sure your dolls join for the Halloween party. It is hashtag Panic Pixie Halloween
Party
2022. Halloween party. Halloween party 2022. Let me make sure I put party on mine. I'm pretty sure I did though. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. But yeah, I just want to make sure I did. So, and then I will put the other hashtag on here, which is Instagram stories. Put that in the hashtag or in the caption for the hashtag. I'm excited for this. So that's the hashtag I will be inserting into my posts for now on. So then that way it can show up in the hashtag. And we advise you guys to do the same if you want, because it's still if you guys want. But this is going to allow us to be able to locate each other and find other interesting stories because there's a lot of creative storytellers on here.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't have any idea. We need to spread the word.
We do, because I mean, you guys are pouring out the story that's close to your heart, and you want people to read it. Like, not even going by, you know, having viewers and following and stuff. If that's something that you want, all the more reason for doing it. But otherwise, just being able to have people read what you're pouring out. Let's do this. Let's be able to read each other's stories and be able to grow and vibe and evolve because that's the beauty of story. Even commercials have stories. You know, for that 3 seconds or 2.5 minutes, you're looking at a story. I've cried off of commercials.
Right?
I think we had one like where a lady was like a neighbor to a little girl Do you remember that one? They were like talking through the window and waving, and then the lady wasn't there for a while, and the girl was looking for her, and then when she said bye, hi back, she had like I think she had like the poster and said hi, and the lady had been in the hospital. I was like, oh my God, I got all weepy eyed because it told a story, and I spent a lot of time with old people a long time ago, and so that's something that's important to me. The gap of generations being connected. So they told us a story in that 2 minute span. It's so important. It's so very important. Story really does color our life. Even right now, the baby's being under the weather. It's its own story.
It is.
So, the hashtag, it is going to be Doustagram Stories with the IES, and I'm going to put it in the in the caption. I'll put the hashtag in the caption.
Yeah, and you from now on, not just Halloween.
Yes. From now on, and it's just some things that we're wanting. We'll be discussing between us and with you guys as far as being able to have like I said with the award show, or I think it's called an award show, but being able to present different storytellers and talk together just like we're doing right now, and just continue to grow and develop as writers. And just, and that growth just comes from us being able to share our story. So whatever you guys have written down that you already been doing, just add into your hashtag, the Doustagram Stories, hashtag Doustagram Stories. We'll find each other through the hashtag, find new accounts, and just be able to continue to grow and chat. Like she said, it's really a niche inside of a niche. I will add that along with my Ash Harbor story hashtag. Awesome. Oh boy, I will put it in my story. Yay!
Awesome.
Yay! This is great. And then with your Halloween party, does that go on till tomorrow or till today?
Tonight, but
tonight.
Wanderers can come in late. We'll have punch.
Well, I am excited. Are we going to be getting any more Karen storyline, or do we wait to the next season?
No, it's here. It's coming. It's ready for us. I have it ready to go. It's all written out. It hasn't been all photographed, but it's here and it's coming, and it's gonna hit like a bomb. It's
and that's the other thing. When you read any of your, whenever we read Panic Pixie Doll storyline, you have episodes, and I love that. Well, like new seasons. I love it. And then Mary sometimes gives the recap. Yeah. It's not always going to be Mary, but Mary did the last 2 recaps. And I love it, because she comes with her own way of delivering the recap of everything. It's great.
It was requested that Mary take over and do it because I was doing a good job, I guess. It's been Mary.
Mary is, I know you told me that you based her off of someone you went to school with, right?
The name,
and then you just kind of
the character
exaggerated her personality.
No, she's not really like her at all. At first, that was my intent, but then she just exploded and became this kind of random, chaotic presence. She's so freeing to write. It's like, because I edit so much, I people please, but Mary doesn't do any of that, and it's just a release, and it's wonderful, and it's wonderful that she's so liked. She can get away.
I think that she offers that for us.
Yes.
I really, really do, because I too am in the same boat with you, as far as before I even say certain things, I'm thinking about how it could be received. If that's how I need to say it, what would be a better way? Let me bite my tongue right here. I even just recently posted a video to Facebook that I had did a while back about the topic of dancing. And I went back and I thought about it, and I was like, oh, I did say this about, my old church. And I was just like, should I have posted that? What did I do wrong? I spent so much time in my head worried it was going to bother anyone. And I heard God kind of say, go back and watch the video. I watched it. I was like, I really didn't say anything that wrong. But I spent so much time versus a character like Mary is Oh, wow.
Yes, like in my last episode, I had Britt do something that got a lot of people going, can't do that, Britt. That wasn't good. And it wasn't, but you have to let your characters have room for growth. And, but I feel like Mary could get away with more than my other characters. but yeah,
You made me think about when Mary, I think it was Mary, like, yeah, Mary and Justin were kissing
yeah,
underneath the blanket. And yet Jolene's dad is like, no, 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 you can't do that. And Jolene's like, well, why is it okay for her to do it? And Mary's kind of like, well, because dad doesn't expect anything from me. Like, it doesn't really matter what I do.
I'm just realizing that I think the audience is the same. They don't, Mary can get away with a lot of nonsense. And I think it's, she doesn't take herself too seriously. So maybe we don't either.
That's true. That is true. And I really do. I like that. And like I said, I believe that is why she is such a crowd pleaser for a lot of us. Like you said, she's a very freeing character. So she's freeing for you to write. And then when we read her and the different things that she does or throwing her laptop, it's just you feel free too. Like I would love to throw my laptop, but then the idea of like how expensive it is that it gets broken. I can't do it. I can't do it. But she doesn't even care about that. She's like, oh well. But you don't throw my laptop. You got mad at Justin. You just have really well-rounded, textured, and layered characters, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. And then on top of that, like I said, you yourself, you're an amazing sister, and I enjoy what we have as far as our connection and how we vibe. And
Me too.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful that we have met and that we have this opportunity to be able to continue to develop as writers together.
Yes. Me too. Thank you. And that's part of the
So
point,
I'm just
right?
mhm.
Part of the point of the hashtag is to develop as writers together, learn from each other, support each other, meet each other.
So very true. So very true. Because, and I'm so glad you brought that up because one of the things that has been helpful to me in the doll community with our doll stories is being able to, like, if I have a question about a certain character and how it will work out, I can write someone and say, I'm thinking of doing this with my Nita character or with Gloria. What do you think? Or I have someone who writes me and asks me about a storyline concept or idea, or do you think that this will come across right? And we trust each other to not copy each other's work, to be like, yeah. And that's been the beautiful thing, is the amount of trust that we have in our community. Now, I mean, I would still say, seek out wise counsel. Don't just share your story with anybody, but you'll be led to the right one to be able to talk to that listens to your storyline and isn't going to try to take the idea or just shoot it down, because some people are just like, oh, that stinks, just because they don't want you to write it. But someone who really does genuinely appreciate what you have, and they're like, yeah, I could see her personality doing that, or I could see him doing that.
Yes.
So that's been really, really helpful for me.
Yes. People who are invested in your characters almost as much as you are. Yes.
Yes.
Outside
Yes.
you, and maybe you're too close.
So very, very true. Ash Harbor said, I love you say that because we all need to support one another. That's so very true.
So very true. Because if anyone's going to get what we're doing, it's us.
I agree. I agree. Barbies and Griff said, who's that pink haired lady? She's a lovable hot mess. I think she's talking about, she has to be talking about Mary.
Yeah, that's
yeah, yeah, yeah. Recaps are good, especially if you forget. True. And that's what Panic Pixie gives you, is a recap, and I love it. I love it. Being able to, just like she's saying, if you forget something, you're reminded through the recap, and then also you get a chance to hear it in the tone of voice of how Mary's going to deliver it. And that's always fun. That's always fun.
I also try and make it really for people to catch up and be able to start wherever they find it, because it's been going on for over a year, and I know a lot of people don't want to start from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's something that's unique to your page. that's something else that makes your page stand out because you do have your recaps. So that's what I like.
Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, the support is so important, and there are certain things that although went to school for writing, have my published pieces as an indie author, did this and that, I'm still learning as a writer, especially how can I put it, being able to have more of an intimate relationship with my characters. Like there's things I'm learning now through our Dostagram and through writing for my characters and holding them. I believe that kind of makes a difference between having an actor and having the actor kind of like spit out what's been written. Compared to you live on my shelf and I'm developing a relationship with you. Is this something that you would say?
Yeah.
Is this how you would act? And it really has made my relationship with them and with my characters more intimate compared to before. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize that.
Yes. And constantly learning. I mean, we're all constantly learning, right? I I was watching this thing on YouTube the other day about dialogue, and it totally helped. No, it was on Facebook. Anyway, it totally helped this Anthony and Jolene dialogue that I had at the end of last episode, because I was like, it gets so stale if you just say "I love you." So I was trying to figure out what he was going to say to her, and then I saw this person's post about third tier dialogue, and I was like, oh, there it is. That's perfect. And so,
Wow.
yeah, and it's so realistic and authentic, and it was awesome. I feel like it was a big realization, and it's like, oh, like, you can still have these aha moments no matter how you see yourself.
That's so true. That is so true. You should constantly always be ready to learn. Always be a constant student. That's my feeling on it.
Yeah.
Always be willing to learn, and it doesn't always have to be an institutionalized learning situation as far as being in grad school or being in a school setting. Like you said, looking at Facebook, looking at YouTube, you can gain so much knowledge that way. Our children right now, because we homeschool, they're learning about Alfred Hitchcock because, along with William Shakespeare, I love some Alfred Hitchcock. I do, and the crazy thing is, he gets so much credit, and he was just the director.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I mean, he had a team of writers, but it wasn't like he was writing down these screenplays and then, delivering it. He was the one that was the mastermind director behind it. But there's so much that you can learn from him. And the awesome thing is that we're now in this day and time where we have the internet, of course. So our children are learning about Alfred Hitchcock and the different strategies that he took as a director. And there's different video footage of him talking in different classes about like the ticking bomb theory, the superior position theory, and these are such awesome I was like, man, I wish I would have had this when I was getting my MFA, like when I was in MFA.
Yes. Like this guy who shared that thing on Facebook I was talking about, he was a professor at Yale. I'm like, I never would have had a chance to hear what someone at professor at Yale had to say, and now they're all over Facebook and YouTube. It's fantastic.
It is. And I'm so glad you said that. That's what I shared with our children. I was like, you guys are in a day and age that learning is literally at your fingertips. Like, this is a wonderful time because no matter what grade that you're in, you can learn information that's way above your grade level. So the information that they're learning right now is something that he was teaching to college students. And
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you guys, learn these different theories that he's speaking of. And so they're writing an Alfred Hitchcock storyline right now. And it's just really, and I know that Alfred Hitchcock is suspense and there's murder and some of them are young, but they watch Monk and stuff. So I'm like, hey, at first I did kind of question. I was like, oh, it's got murder. But Alfred Hitchcock, it's just like,
I watched it.
this is golden information.
Yes. It's good stuff.
It is. And so I've been, learning it alongside of them because, like I said, I didn't have the information back then, and it's really made me rethink. I had just like you had the aha moment, like, man, if I would have known this a little earlier, there's certain writings that's out there and plays that I would have did different.
Yeah.
I
And,
really would, and it's not to bash them. It's just I would have did it different.
totally. Yeah. And it hits at a time when like sometimes it'll just be like boom and like, oh, that's what I was looking for.
Yes, 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 yes. So I'm going to look that up. You said third tier dialogue.
Third tier dialogue. And sometimes you can use a technique and you can do it, but you're not realizing, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's actually a technique and there's a word for it. But then when you know about it and you see that it's a technique, you can remember to call it back when you need it.
Yes. Yes, that's so very, very true. So very, very true. Just being able, because a lot of times you're not going to be able to use that information now. Like
Mm-hmm.
the ticking bomb theory, that particular theory of he said if you have two people and they're sitting across from each other and they're talking about baseball and they're just having a regular conversation, but yet there's a bomb underneath the table. And so because it's ticking, they have to be able to do something with this bomb before it detonates. Um, and so that becomes the issue, especially if they're not aware of it, but yet maybe the audience members, they're aware that the bomb is there. And then when the bomb is discovered, what do they do? And he said a lot of times other directors and other movies will just have the bomb go off. And so it doesn't lead to the suspense, and then you don't want the people to die because then you take away something from the audience, whereas you still want, I guess, like a hero complex as far as them being able to get the bomb out and the bomb, they throw it out and it detonates and it's not in the house, and doesn't kill anyone. So you want them to be able to live because that gives a relief to the audience. And
Yes.
so I haven't used it yet, though. When I first heard it, I was like, I'm using it. I haven't used it yet. So, like you said, when it's time for it to come up, you'll know and you can incorporate the different strategies, as a writer into your story.
Yeah. And
And I'm
you'll
glad you said it because I think it's really easy to learn something and be like, I'm putting it in there. And it's just not time.
right. Right.
So I do. I like that. I like that. But I am going to look this up with third tier dialogue. And I did notice when they had talked on the couch that their dialogue with each other is a little bit different. But they trip me out. I'm looking forward to seeing Anthony at the fire station some more this coming up season because you've introduced some very interesting characters at the firehouse. Ash Harvard stories that she's going to catch up on your storyline. Hey, it's worth it. It is definitely worth it. You are not going to be disappointed at all, at all. So yeah, I'm interested in these three guys at the. Is it three or is it four at the
Um,
firehouse?
there's four
That's
counting
four.
the chief.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because the one guy is it Tony.
Uh-huh.
He
And
is such a prune right now, but he could be a Justin where I was like, oh, what a prick. And then come to find out there was more layers to why Justin is the way that he is. So that's the interesting thing. Like I said, when it comes to your characters, you have these layers. And if you just kind of go from what the person first seems like, I think it kind of reveals a lot about yourself. So in my own life, I've encountered pricks. So when I was introduced to Justin in your storyline, it's like, oh, he's a prick. But then when you brought in more about the details of who he was and what he was going through, it was like, oh, he's got a lot of issues. He just has a lot of issues that he's trying to work through at a young age. And I love. Now, what made you decide to go with the high school thing?
I started writing it when I was in high school, and I was motivated
Wow.
a lot by my so-called life, which dates me, but because it went off the air, and I was like, I want something that's in that same genre, because there was other teen shows, but they were all really happy. And this one was a little bit more angsty, and it just hit a chord with me. And I was like, I want more like this. And my story's not a lot like that, but it's developed and changed. And, you know,
I like it.
yeah, because I used to watch TV as a kid, and I'd be like, I'm going to just go right in my room because I'd rather be with my characters and my stories because I like it. And then if you like it, other people, it will hit something for other people too.
That's so true. That is so very, very true. Bye. Thank you for joining. That is so very true. And I did see My So-Called Life with Claire Danes.
Yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I didn't get, and I caught the tail end of it.
Yes, me
And
too.
I don't know why. I don't know if we had just got the cable on or what it was, but I do remember only catching like the last part of like the last season. And I was like, man, I wish I would have seen more of this. And that's when, I had my little high school. Was I in high school or middle school? I'm somewhere in there, high school or middle school. And I had a little crush on, what was that, Jared Leto? Like, this was like Jared Leto back in the day. Like, wait, you guys may know him from playing Joker now, but this was when he was like extremely, extremely young. And Claire Danes was just, going through life. And like you said, it wasn't this happy, preppy view. It was kind of, what do you do when you're different?
Yeah.
And how she was able to still navigate things. And of course, her best friend, he was different. And they both were looking for acceptance. And then, Jared Leto liked her, and it was kind of like, well, what's this guy that looks so cute like me for?
Yeah.
And so she was also dealing with her own insecurities. And I can really, now that you said that, I can really see that kind of play in a different form, not
Yeah.
all the exact same, but I can kind of see that as far as Jolene having to go through life and manage her own insecurities, just like when Karen said that really mean comment about the cheerleaders, about Courtney and Quinn talking bad about her. And that wasn't the case, but just, Jolene saying, I'm trying to have a really good time, and that hurt. And so, she was trying to keep her spirits high and manage her own, insecurities. And she was feeling really good. And then Karen like vamped on that. So I can see where that is. Like I said, I enjoyed My So-Called Life because I really did feel that it related to us, who were the creative ones and the unique ones and the different ones. And, we knew that we knew we were different. And you just needed someone to hug you and accept you. And so that was, I'm glad you brought up that show. That was a good show.
Yes.
Someone, Texas Doll said, I just rewatched My So-Called Life on Hulu. So many memories. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It is. It is. It is. And so I like that you bring that up. And I like that you took that element, but you mixed it in with who you are and the things that's important to you in theater, and you mashed it together, and you just keep mashing it together, and it's great. It really, really is.
Thank you. And I love being able to have my dolls be my medium, because I went from playing with dolls to writing stories and keeping those separate because I felt like I needed to. And then now I get to combine them and connect them, which is what I've kind of always wanted to do, but didn't know people were doing it. Like, you can't do that. And then, oh, I could.
I know, right? The things that we think that we can't do, gotta just try to do things the right way, and then come to find out, if you're having fun and you're not hurting anyone, there's nothing wrong with being able to get your dolls out, or whatever unique hobby that you enjoy, and just mashing together the things that you love and making it work. And that's the cool thing about what we do with our dolls, because not only do we have our storyline that we can blend in as writers, but then there's artwork that we do. Look what you did with the party. You gave us different tutorials of how you made the punch, the eyeball punch. You had the other cups, the drinks that you showed online of how you made those. And then you show us all the different, fashions and outfits that you make. So you're able to combine all these gifts and talents.
Yes. And I think we're divinely supposed to have a want to create. I'm going to show you. The punch has not lasted very well. Oh, no, it's fine. Wait,
Oh, look at that. That is so cool. I love it. That is so cool. That is. When you put this, and guys, now that I have you guys on here too, I got to put that onto the into the caption. Your YouTube as well.
Oh yeah.
Your YouTube. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been trying to get my story actually on YouTube, and it's hard. It's really hard to film and have it be like, you know, like a movie or series, which is what I really want to do. It's hard, but it's coming along finally.
Good.
That's what I want my to be, but right now it's other things, which is fun too.
Yeah, because right now you have the tutorials and your unboxings online, and then I know like the older posts, or I don't know if they still call it posts, but your older videos, you had the storyline with Jolene, like when she was the other doll.
That's my preview.
Yeah. So there was a doll that was before this Jolene.
Yeah, young Jolene.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, does she have like a dinosaur dream? I love your dream sequence. Before we get offline, I have to ask you, how did you come about the dream sequence?
So when I started the story in the middle, not last spring, but the spring before, and it got me a lot of followers, and then when I stopped telling it, they all left, and I don't know what happened, but and I was doing a lot of dreams for whatever reason in that little blip of a story. It ended at the end of last season is kind of when it took place, and I was using a lot of dreams. I don't even know why, but then I decided to start with a dream with young Jolene's dinosaur dream, and then, you know, because I don't tell I don't do a voiceover narrative like Angela Chase does, where she's like, oh, I woke up and I'm, you know, but I feel like dreams are a way to tell everybody what that character wants, what they're freaking out about, what they're thinking about, really quick.
I like that. And it's so, I'm gonna tell you something else when you said about what the character wants. I've been watching Pixar in a Box. It's on YouTube. I've been watching it online with the kids, because some of my kids are doing Pixar in a Box online, and it has to do with storytelling. And they said, really find out what your character wants versus what your character needs. And these are different writers and collaborators and so forth who make the Pixar production. And I was like, wow, like this is really, really cool. Definitely, you have time, I would suggest checking out the Pixar in a Box. I am like learning so much as far as just filling in the holes and gaps of how to show what my character wants, and then even getting me to think more about what does my character want. Are they getting close to what they want? What obstacles are there? You know, but then when you talk about using the dreams to show what your character really does want, or what they're fighting with internally, that is awesome. That really is, because in our own life, our dreams can reveal so much.
Yes. Like I have a dream about orcas, and it freaks me out, and I don't know why.
I've had one dream about an orca before. It was like, but it was jumping up in the air. Like it was in the water and it was jumping. And I was like, oh, wow. It felt peaceful for me, but yeah.
Like I'm not scared of them in real life, but in my dreams, they freak me out. It's weird. But yeah, like dreams are a big part of, yeah. And it's also a lot of fun to do these dreams. And I get to use costumes and characters that I don't usually get to use. So
see, and that's really cool too, just because then it doesn't keep you locked into a time period. Like you did the one recently, you know how much I love Othello, and you did the dream sequence from Othello using Karen, and so you were able to have them in costume, and you're not locked into that particular era of time.
Yeah.
which I love because there's certain dream sequence, well, not dream sequences, but there's certain things that I want to do with my dolls as far as I have a younger looking Gloria doll, I have a younger looking Sheeta doll, and there's like two other dolls that have that look like the younger version. And I want to incorporate them in, but I don't want to lock in my time. I don't want to
Yeah.
make it where, you know, they have to time travel and now I got the younger version, or so that's something I've been trying to, you know, play around with in my head, is how do I incorporate my younger versions where I don't have to have picture on top of picture on top of picture of them being the younger version.
Right.
Whereas the dream sequence allows you to have however many posts of them in that dream, and then you're right back in your present day age. I love it. I love it. I love it. But yeah, I tell you, Karen is quite an interesting character. I think we've all met someone like that. Some people may even be like that themselves. They're like, well, I wouldn't do that. I would do
They all think they're not Karens, but they're Karens.
Karen is relentless. And I love that you have her like, she's gonna get what she wants no matter what. Like that's just, you know, that's how her attitude is. Even if she doesn't get it, like she doesn't seem to understand that Anthony still has his own free choice. Like he doesn't have to be with her just because she wants to be with him. But she's still in her mind, like, I don't care what I have to do, I'm gonna get what I want. And I really do like that, and I believe that's what sticks out, you know, when you talk about what your character wants and showing it through the dream sequence. I believe that's what another thing that really sticks out with your characters is that you have defined for us and shown us this is what they want. This is what she's after. This is where Anthony is at in his position. This is where Jolene is at. This is where Mary is at. So we get that understanding. Like right now, Mary wants to become a designer, fashion designer. So we know, and you can look through her pictures and see that fashion's always been important to her. It really has. So it's not like an idea that just came out of anywhere. This has always been something important to her, and now she's like willing to go for it. And so I like that you have that defined. And that's something I've been asking myself. Like I said, ever since I watched the Pixar in a Box with my kiddos, I'm like, I want to have my characters be more driven towards their want, because I don't really know if I defined that enough with my characters. So, and then of course it makes you even ask yourself, like, do I define that with myself? Do I define what my wants are?
And I think that's how we develop our smaller characters too. You just made me kind of realize maybe that's why Shakespeare's, even his smallest characters, are so interesting. And there's no bad part. You can get cast in any part of Shakespeare and you'll have a wonderful character to play. And maybe that's because he gives all of his characters something they want. I haven't looked into it, but I think you're onto something.
Yeah, that's true. No, that is so very, very true. And like you said, there is no bad part in each one of his characters, because he worked with multiple characters. Of course, now we talk about budget and stuff, so we're like, hey, if you can get like a one-man show or, you know, three to five characters, that's the play that we're looking for, because it's less people to have to, you know, configure into a budget. But when you look at his plays, just the cast alone, it's just like name on top of name on top of name on top of name. This is his son, and this is his son, and this is the son's souls. You know, this is the soul. This is the gentlewoman. I mean, like it's just name on top of name on top of name. But he used each and every person.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every person, even if they just had like three lines, maybe that's the person who captured, you know, who says like, there he is, and he points to Iago. I mean, like any time whenever there's a role for someone, like you said, they know what they want, and it's very defined, and then the mission, whatever it is that needs to be, you know, that needs to be accomplished in that particular scene or in that overall play, the character gets it done. Or either they fell at it terribly, but you still knew that there was a particular mission that they were trying to, you know, get done, and they didn't do it. Othello, his mission was to have a good life with Desdemona, but yet it doesn't happen. because he falls for the trickery of Iago. And I felt like Iago's wife should have gotten in trouble too, because she was just as much a part of it. She knew how Iago was. I, but I felt like she should have gotten in trouble as well. But he felt miserably at what he was trying to do because he let other people into their relationship, and Iago.
Yeah, you touched on a good point, because sometimes I feel bad for, you're in a relationship with someone who's a narcissist or verbally or mentally abusive, and you're a victim, but you're still making these choices that might be hurting other people. And you're doing it because you're being manipulated, and you know that it's easier to be kind of a horrible person because you're not going to get that response from the person manipulating you, but you're still responsible. And I think when you can see that in stories, and like in Iago, yeah, and it's interesting to me to use that and see that, because they're kind of victims, but they're also victimizing other people.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes, I fully agree. I fully agree with you on that. I fully agree with you on that. Because what she did was really the whole catalyst of, she was the one who had the handkerchief. She got the handkerchief. Had that not taken place, then none of anything else would have happened.
Yeah.
The lie would have never been set on that kind of level. Now Iago was very clever. He would have figured out something else. But he needed her to get that handkerchief, and she did it when she should have already known this guy has no good intention. It was not a good intention. It was you already knew he was going to do something he wasn't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that we relate to what Shakespeare writes, even with the play that shall not be mentioned by name, is just because he created characters that we could relate to someone else. We could say, oh, this reminds me of maybe a friend or a family member or someone that I had issues with or someone I went to school with. You've met someone that reminded you of them, either the person, like you said, who is a victim of a bad relationship, but also victimizes people. There have been a lot of different people like that, a lot of different people, and they don't get in trouble for it, just like she didn't. But then she had to deal with the guilt of knowing that Desdemona's death was her fault.
Yeah.
So I really do. I enjoy literature. I enjoy, like I said, with William Shakespeare or we talk about Hitchcock or anything like that, because of how intricate the characters are. And you can constantly, just like they learn all the time about our organs and our anatomy, and they're like, oh yeah, now we understand there's I think there's some layer right underneath the skin. It's like the second biggest organ, but they didn't know it was there. So they were making all these different clones and stuff, and I'm like, oh, now we just found out those clones are kind of defective because there's this whole other layer that we didn't know existed. So you're constantly learning, and that's the same thing with characters. They're based off of us as humans, and how we have so much layering to where you're constantly learning what works and what doesn't work, and what your characters want and what they need and what obstacles they have to go through. You're constantly developing. And that's what makes what we do as storytellers here on Instagram so important, because not only are we sharing what our background is and our experiences, but it also helps people. It helps people with their own personal life.
Yeah. It's, that's a huge point of existing, right?
I agree.
From others and lifting others up.
I agree so much. We were talking to our kids about that today, just the importance of us being encouraging to other people, being able to pray for other people in their situation, and what can we do to help. And because we were, I can't remember what scripture we were talking about, and I should know. But I can't really think of it off the top of my head. But just the importance of whenever you worship God, and you know that's what you do. That's what we do. And whenever you also are active in what He wants for you to be, then you can pray for people and actually see things happen for them, like on a good note. Praying for them in their health, and asking for God to deliver somebody. If they're in a just like how Justin was in alcohol, because you want people to be in a good situation. And unless you're like Jonah, talked about before, Jonah, on the other hand, he's like, hey, they deserve it. They deserve it. And we talked about that briefly. In fact, that was the post that did it. We were talking about um, being able to, what was it? I just lost it that quick, but it was about Jonah not wanting to see anyone do well, and how we can use Bible story characters. There you go, Bible story characters, to really grow our own characters. And you really can't, be able to do that. But yeah, it's so important to help each other. And these stories help other people, no matter how close it is to you, or if it's a story that you picked up from, observing other people in their life, and you're like, I'm going to, use it and change up the names and stuff. But it helps people through what they're personally going through.
Yeah. And when, because it also helps the writer, and then when they share it, you know, kind of
Yes.
bringing awareness
Yes.
to things. It's like, oh, people feel like that too. I feel like that all the time.
And sometimes you just need to hear someone, even us, like you're saying, as the writer, just need to hear someone say, "Oh, I've been there. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought about that before."
Yeah.
Or, I thought I was the only one who went through that. Or whatever the case is, being able to have someone say, I've had that experience, I've thought that way, or I thought that was funny, you thought that was funny too, now I don't feel like my sense of humor is that different. It helps. It does. It helps a whole lot. And it helps us to be able to relate and bond. But when we don't connect as writers, because we're all scattered, we can connect with each other through our doll hobby, which helps a whole lot. But we won't really have someone who says, you know, great job on the story. I understood where that character was coming from. We won't really get that feedback, and that feedback matters a whole lot.
Yes. It's such an endorphin too.
It is. It is. It really, really is. And I tell you, like, because I used to do book signings prior to the pandemic, and eventually I'll get back into it whenever it's time. But I used to enjoy hearing people say, like, oh, I read your story and I really like that the character did this, or, whatever the case is, and being able to sign off on the book. But now, with us doing things online, you get that immediately. Like, I don't have to go. I don't have to go to a location and get all the book paraphernalia out, and sit there and wait for people to come and talk about the book. Now I get that conversation right here, and it helps so much. Like you said, it's definitely an endorphin booster. You get a chance to know, like, if you say something and someone doesn't like it, you can kind of find out, like, if it's just more of that person's preference. Like, maybe they just don't like characters that cheat. So maybe that's their own personal thing. So but then someone else says, I went through a situation similar to this and this helps. Or like, I love the story. I didn't have to go through anything similar, but I just love the story. You're on target with it. So it works, being able to do our stories online and getting that feedback immediately.
It's a trip, and I did not expect it. You start writing, you don't expect it. When you do a play and you do a talk back, or like a read through, and your actors give you feedback, it's after the entire thing is read. It's not after every few paragraphs, and it's a trip, and it's so helpful. And it's like, okay, was that clear? Okay, yes, it was clear. Or, oh, a lot of confusion was created there. I need to kind of iron out what's happening more. It's
That's so true.
It's such a great blessing for to be able to tell a story in this medium where you get this feedback after every post. But it's also kind of hard because sometimes it's like, okay, there's a journey. Don't write that character off. they're good people. They're just having a bad day, or you know. Like when I first started telling my story, I got a lot of hate around, Jolene's so wishy-washy. I'm like, she needs, she has a growth. She grows. She has to start off somewhere that's not perfect.
That's so very, very true. And I love, you did something very unique with Jolene's story in that you show her family tree. Because I didn't know that she and Mary were half sisters. So that, then being able to see, of course, her dad and who his sister is and so forth, it's very, very helpful to be able to, target who's who. And like you said, her being able to evolve and grow as a young teen and coming from a blended family that also has its own special dynamics to it as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I made it very clear that Mary was her half sister at first, or or if it's been a few months since I posted that, like people, you mention it once and people are gonna forget it, and then when I read Wuthering Heights, I need to graph out that family tree. So I know
Wuthering Heights is such a good book. That is such a good one. It is. It is. I think I saw maybe one version of the movie because they have all these different versions. I saw one that was closest that I had liked. I think it was in high school. I wish I could remember who was in that particular version. But Wuthering Heights is a book. It's just very, very good. And it's one of those books that's very hard to translate into a movie, though.
Yes.
Because there's so many different details to it. And I think that's why whenever I would see movies made in the image of it, I was like, oh, this doesn't match. It's just because the book is so detailed. Yeah.
And I feel like it's mostly feeling, it's a lot of just emotion that they're having. It's like that's the story is just crazy emotional journey that they're all suffering through.
Very internal. Almost each character is internalizing what they feel. They know what they want and they won't communicate it. High school reading. Either high school or middle school. I think it was 8th grade. It was 8th grade. It was middle school. I was upset because I was just like, if you just talk. Like, they just wouldn't talk. There was a lot of miscommunication in the book. But isn't that what we do a lot of times in our human form? We don't communicate. We have all these internalized, like you said, emotions, and it was really, really good. I'm glad you brought that one up. Now I'm like, I gotta get that book again. That is such a good book. Such a good. That's one of my favorite. One of my favorites. Love that one.
We have so much. Crazy.
We do. We do. I'll tell you another one of my favorites. The Count of Monte Cristo.
I love the Count of Monte Cristo. That's Oscar's costume. Crazy. I put him
my God. Not everyone knows about that book. It is so good. It is so good. Alexander Dumas. That's another one. I like him a whole lot. His writings were, he had a very crazy lifestyle himself, but such a great writer. Such a great wrter. And I tell you, when you look at the protagonist in that one, he was definitely dedicated to what he wanted. And, I think I always felt for him because I know we're having like a literature conversation, but we're storytellers. But I always felt for him because he was a really kind-hearted character. Kind of like when we talk about Jolene, just a very kind-hearted character. Thought the best of everyone, would like lay down his life for anyone, and then he got, set up, and I hate to say it, but he got screwed over in the worst kind of way, and then he goes to prison, and just how much you see his life have to change to where he becomes, don't want to say almost like kind of callous because he had to become vengeful, so he became more callous.
Yeah.
And yes, he became jaded, and to me that was always the sad thing, is that he had to go through something that always felt like he shouldn't have had to have gone through, but jealousy. Thinking about Karen right now. Just when certain characters, certain individuals become jealous and they don't care. They don't care how much it hurts the individual. And so that's really what he went through. But he had to stay committed to revenge. Like he stayed committed to it to the point of I tell you with him what tripped me out was just the point being that he trained himself to drink poison to where like on the day of when he puts the poison into the I think it was like the wine he never once like you watch movies and stuff and they have a drink right here, a drink right here, and they have the poison in this cup and you can't switch up the cups. He didn't even have to do that. Like he had trained himself to drink it where it's like didn't even phase his body. I was like, wow. And he was committed as a character. He was committed to the mission of getting back to the people who had hurt him. And that's such a good. It is, and that's another one I haven't. I think they only have two movies, maybe, of the Count of Monte Cristo, and for me, I was like, but I love books, though. I love books. Like they have the details in it. It makes you feel like you're there. So that's just where I'm at.
That's a really good one. I love that one.
It is. It is. It got me through eighth grade. I'm be honest with you. It got me through eighth grade. Eighth grade was hard, and I wasn't committed to revenge, but I was just like,
you have a bunch of friends conspiring against you. That's eighth grade.
Hard. Eighth grade was hard. It was. It was hard. Like mentally, it was just hard. I was ready to get out of middle school.
Yes.
I was.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've enjoyed our time together. Yeah, we do have a lot in common, especially when it comes to our books and literature. And I believe I was a lot like you as far as I would watch my movies and stuff and go right back and get to my dolls and get to my story writing. Like I wrote stories without even having to be like I didn't have to write the story for school. I just wrote it. I just wrote to write.
Yeah.
And it does. It helps so much, And look at you now. You're now taking the story from high school and translating it into your Dollstagram story.
Play therapy.
Yes, 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 yes. And I tell you what, one of the cool things about play therapy is that if you have a scenario or a situation in your life or you're writing a play or just like, how will this work out? Because of what we do with our dolls and our writing, we can actually just write out the scenario and see how does it work. How would that look? And that's like the really cool thing. I was sitting one day thinking about it. I was like, if you're going through a life situation or if you're a writer, you're just like, how would this look if I were to, use these same personalities in this situation? How would it work out? And you get that freedom being able to be a storyteller with our dolls.
Yes.
How would it look? How would it play out? And then do like different scenarios, or do like that same scenario and just, see how it plays out in a positive or a negative. We'll read it. We'll read it and eat it up, and someone else will be able to get some help with maybe their current situation. And then you also get a chance to see what would work and what wouldn't work.
Yes, which is such a great opportunity on Dollstagram, especially when we use our hashtag.
Yes. Hashtag Dollstagram stories. So we are going to be putting that into the caption. Make sure you guys attend the Halloween party my girls did. Like I said, they were the brides of Dracula. They were supposed to be the witches, but then they ended up becoming the brides. I love this doll right here. I just want to say that real quick. She's like that new Totally Hair Barbie. And the hair feels like it came from the 90s when we were growing up. And I love her. It does. I'm not going to lie. Her hair. It's not that soft stuff that they got now. It's not. I told my husband, because my husband got her for me. I said, I think they found this hair in the back. It doesn't feel like the soft hair that they give the dolls nowadays. It's like, oh, this is the 1992 hair. But I love her. She's so pretty
She's,
though.
I love her.
She is. She really, really is. I'm trying to get better on my, you know, my doll habit as far as just getting new ones because it's out. Oh my goodness. Mattel's just been like blitzing us. I was actually upset about it.
Yeah.
I was. I didn't think I'd get so mad, but I was upstairs ranting last week, I think. I was like, God dang. Keep bringing them out. I'm like, give us like a little moment to get our, our berries together and our finances and stuff.
Yeah.
Gosh, they brought out like, they got what, the Tina Turner?
Yeah. They're dropping another one on the 26th.
Oh,
Mattel.
what, no, what, do you know
Oh,
which doll it is?
it's a collaboration, and I forgot, or I can't say the name even if I remembered exactly how it's said.
Is it that gold dress, the Rihanna gold dress?
Yes, or was it? Yes.
I saw it on I can't even think of her name. Pat Moselle.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I saw where she showed the gold dress from from one of the, I don't know. I'm really, really bad on those things with the awards show. I think it was an awards show, they said.
Or Met Gala.
Okay, so I think that is it, because that's what I saw in my head was the Met Gala. And it's a pretty dress. It really, really is. I'm still wanting this Gloria Estefan, though.
Yes.
The Gloria, Tina Turner. I was like, gosh, these are beautiful. They're just like back to back to back. And they're like fashionistas. And here goes, I'm like, gosh, give us a moment.
Just a break. Just for a few weeks.
Just a little. Like, so I said, I'm happy I got my totally hair doll. And when it's time, we'll get the other ones. But yeah, Mattel, please. We love them. They look great. They definitely do look great. They're getting better as far as not having the pixelation. Just give us a little bit of time. Just a little.
Especially.
Because they just been bringing them out. One question, though. Because we do talk about, having, all these different dolls that are coming out. How do you, and I'm really asking even with myself, how do you keep yourself maintained to just Jolene and the friends that she has versus putting in too many dolls into your story?
Oh, okay. Sometimes I don't think I do a good job at that. Like I have all these characters from when I originally wrote it, like Brandon, but Brandon doesn't have a whole lot to do right now, but he's around. And he has more to do later, but right now he doesn't have a lot to do. And like Quinn and Courtney didn't have a lot to do at the beginning, but then they went through a time where they had a lot to do. And I don't know. That's a hard one.
I think pretty well with it, though. I really, really do. That's why I was asking you, like, how do you do that?
I don't know. I might have to get back to you on that. I think it's because it might be because I wrote it all before, and so I've streamlined. I've gotten rid of a lot of characters that I ended up not liking. And like Mary used to have a boyfriend, and I just completely got rid of him. Again, because now she's dating Justin. But yeah, I think it's just that I've rewritten it so many times.
Mm. I like that. I like that, the editing process. Because I believe that was, and I spoke about that before with my own story, that I had realized I had so many different characters, and then I'd get someone new, And I was like, oh, I want to incorporate this doll because she's so pretty and she's speaking to me.
Yeah.
And then I just have this extra doll, and I was like, I have too many different storylines going on. And that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to just keep things in one location for right now
Uh,
until I, get a better direction on what I want to do diorama wise. So right now I have the one location that's going to allow me to be able to have the different characters, and because I don't have a committed family. I
mhm.
started off with Manita and Tony, and then I really, really thought, I was like, this is going to be the family. And then I was like, let me bring in Gloria and Raymond as their marriage counselors. And then I was just focused on Gloria and Raymond. And it just, it's gone beyond that now. And so I've learned too, just like you said, as far as cutting people off, like, or I should say cutting off characters. I've cut off my RK character, and I've cut off cut off the other characters because it does get to be too jumbled. And I didn't really feel like they were contributing to the storyline. I felt kind of like they were just making it kind of stagger. And if it makes you question as an author, as the writer, then it makes you also wonder what does my reader feel when they're reading this.
Right.
So I've been trying to get more focused on which characters I'm going to use, and even if I have multiple characters, being able to really know what is their purpose in the story.
Right. Have you thought of having a separate account for the other characters and their stories?
That's a very good one. I have another account. Is it Reels in 1/6? And I haven't really done anything with it yet because I'm still, I guess, figuring out what do I want to put on that particular page. Who would I want to have on that particular page? So there is another page. I just haven't really figured out what I'm going to do with it because I thought about doing just the reels on that one. But I still love photos. I still love being able to have just my photos, when you slide it over.
Yeah, me too.
I really, really do, especially like for us, because our doll hobby, our play therapy also involves photography. So there may be a particular photo I want to do just of the foot and legs, whereas on a reel it's going to show, if you don't do just a picture of the foot and the leg, it's going to give you the whole picture, and then you have to crop it. It's just going to be more work to do it with the reels, which isn't a bad thing, but I like the photos. I like being able to, like, when I'm looking at your photos, I get a chance to just hone in on the details of the photo. And if you want to, stretch it out or something, then you can and slide over to the next picture.
Yeah, I like that too.
And you said something, oh my goodness, before we get off, I have got to address this because this was so awesome. I was like, next time, and I even said this when I'm watching your YouTube, I was like, next time we do a live, I gotta talk to you about this. You were like, pay attention to what goes on in the background because there's, that is awesome. Oh my God. I was like, that is some dynamite wisdom right there. That was a great nugget. If you guys have not checked out Penny Pixie Dolls YouTube, go to it. I mean, that was awesome. What made you talk about that?
I was just kind of talking about everything that was going through my head, and because I wanted to develop that their relationship, and be able to look back and for people to, scroll back to when they first met. Oh yeah, they did notice each other. It adds one of those little nuggets, kind of almost an Easter egg within its own story.
It was. It really, really was, because that was just it was just it was a great nugget. It really, really was. That was one of those right there that you want to write down kind of notes. I wrote it down in my head because when you said it, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so good. And then the deep thing about it, crazy deep thing. We're watching Ghostbusters. I was watching Ghostbusters with my husband and the kiddos. The thing was like number 2, and Sigourney Weaver is walking with the baby. And I've seen Ghostbusters. Like, I'm an 80s baby. I've seen it for so many times. For whatever reason, I finally saw in the background the people arguing. Never paid it any attention before. It's like at the very beginning when she has the stroller, and then you see like the police officer and this guy arguing about the ticket for the car. And my kids, they were like, oh yeah, it's the pink slime is making people argue. And that's what really made me focus in. And I was like, rewind. I'm sorry. I told them to rewind because I had never really paid any attention. And then it took me all the way back to your comment that you had said about paying attention to what goes on in the background, because there's always something going on in the background. I told the kids that. I was like, oh my God, Patty Dixon just said. Like, I just saw your YouTube. I was like, pay attention to what's in the background. And it's true. Pay attention to what's in the background, because that can either go along with the storyline or give you a foreshadowing,
Yes.
or create his own storyline.
Yes, I had a scene once where Karen was talking to Yvonne, and really the story was happening behind them because they weren't talking about anything relative. And I think they were pretty much talking nonsense. And then at the end, you realize that Lindsay hasn't been invested. Oh, not Karen, Lindsay, but she wasn't invested in the conversation because she was paying attention to what was happening behind them, where Yvonne wasn't. And I think you have to go back a few times and see, because Karen's in the background doing something she shouldn't be doing, and and that's not where the focus is. But I think that's what made me think of it in the first place.
I like that. I like that. That's just it's a great, great nugget. Like I said, for us as a storyteller, that's why we said we're constantly developing and getting a different understanding of technique and what works and what doesn't work. And how can I incorporate this in what I do? And then, like I said, even watching TV different, because I didn't see that on Ghostbusters before until you had brought that up, and I heard the kids, saying like, "Oh, it's the pink slime." Because kids catch, they see stuff that we may not be paying attention to.
They do.
They really, really do. We're looking at what's right in front of us, and they're seeing the whole scope of it. So they had already picked up on it. They were just like, "Oh, yeah, that's the pink slime, make people argue." And I was like, "Oh, wow." They really are in the back arguing. I never paid any attention. And even how the pink slime, there's someone else that got upset soon after that. So yeah, I like that. And I do remember that post with Yvonne. Yvonne's always a fun character whenever you throw her in there. Yvonne's interesting to me. She's fun. But then she's also kind of, I don't want to say like self-absorbed, but she doesn't really look beyond herself for real, and that's what kind of makes me laugh about her whenever she's on there. But she's not trying to hurt anyone. She's not trying to do a Karen or anything like that, but she's just really invested into herself and her singing or whatever it is that she's doing. I know you just had her, I think that she was reading for the Othello play. And you just get that feeling from her that she's the one that, she's trying to be an entertainer. That's what I get from her, that she's trying to, be an aspiring entertainer. And so her thing is just on her, like how she sings and how she just presented the verses. And, she's going to give her best to it because she's aspiring to go places. That's what she reminds me of. She seems like she would be the person in school that everyone pretty much got along with, but she's just, her focus is on herself.
Yeah. Definitely.
But she's not, she's not a mean girl with it. She's just, she has goals, and that's just what she's going for. And she doesn't really pay attention to what's going on. Like you said, the one with Yvonne and Lindsay, like she wasn't paying attention because her focus was just on herself. And yeah. And there's been, like I said, I enjoyed that you have it in a high school setting. For myself, especially with going to an all-girls school, it takes me back memory-wise. And then I had, guy friends, and so with your guys, they remind me of that. Um, and Matt is very, very, he's like the opposite, maybe just more so in gender to Karen. That's what he kind of reminds me of. Of course, Karen, well, but not as devious as Karen. Karen is quite devious, but
He's tricksy.
yeah, yeah. Even him coming to the Halloween party with the date is like. That's why I was like, "Oh, I got to see what's going on. What's going on with this?" And I did see the girl. The girl, I believe, is that the one from the looks.
Uh-huh.
I thought that she was with him. Okay, okay. So I'm interested to see how this is going to go down because Matt and Karen, when they want something, they go for it.
They
And
do.
I know that he has managed to get Jolene's dad to favor him.
Yes.
And so I can't really say that's why I'm like, should I be shocked because I'm more than likely her dad. I think Steve probably had him come, but it's still interesting to me with him being the ex that he's there.
Yeah, he's
So
gonna
I'm
be around for a while. He's gonna get back in there.
oh wow, because Jolene still has dreams about Matt. So I'm curious to see how this goes, and of course, her celebrity friends and stuff. Oscar, Jolene is just the hot stuff. And it's always interesting because she started off as like, the nerd. She was nerdy.
Yeah.
And now she's the hot stuff.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So we've got our hashtag Instagram stories. I'm gonna put that into our caption. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we leave?
No, I just hope people spread the word about the hashtag and that we can grow this niche within a niche more.
Yes. Yes. Because there's a lot of great stories out there. I find them through the Explorer. Um, I'll when I put that the little magnifying glass in the Explorer, I find some of the doll stories there. I haven't now. Well, I will admit I haven't wrote on their story. Like I just usually see whenever I'm like scanning. But we need it. We need it. We need something that connects us so that we can find each other a lot easier.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. So I will put the hashtag on there. Like she said, spread the word, let it be known. I'm gonna put the hashtag in my story too and try to, put it in there often so that we can remember Instagram stories and be able to find each other and be able to, create new stories and be able to, read each other's stories and develop sisterhoods and relationships through our stories.
Exactly.
So I thank you for spending time with me today and us being able to learn together how much we enjoy stories. That's why I said we were story obsessed because we love books and stories, and it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, and I hope that the babies do feel better. I'm glad to know that his fever broke because it is. It's really really nasty. You've heard me coughing. It's nasty. It is, but we're gonna get through it. Yeah, yeah, it's just been ugly. So hopefully Monday he'll be able to go back to school, huh?
I think so. He's right there. He's like, no.
Oh goodness. Well, tomorrow's Sunday, so he still gets a whole day to be able to rest and stuff and rest the rest of the day. That's what I found worked best for us was the rest.
Yes.
Of course, Daddy and Mommy don't really get a chance to rest.
No.
No, but I know, right? And then the kids could be, it's no offense to babies, no offense. The kids can be so unfair because you let them rest because you're like, oh, liquids and rest, liquids and rest. I mean, and food too, but you're trying to keep them hydrated. And then mommy and daddy need to rest. They're like, Like kicking it up. Can you give them the same respect? They don't though. They're just full of energy. I'm like, man. Whew. Yeah, parenting is its own story. It is. So that's why we need our Instagram story to help us to get out of our own situation for the 3-5 minutes that we're reading the different posts. Because it does. It helps me. It does. It does. It's nothing against my kids, but I got 10 of them, so they're rambunctious. Yes, it gets really, really busy. They're quiet right now, but it gets busy. It gets really, really busy. Life is usually pretty busy. And so to be able to sit down and read Jolene's story or Mary's story or read, about devious Karen, it helps. It does. It really, really does. So I want you to continue to write these awesome and amazing stories that you're doing and being able to see your characters evolve from what you have on the paper. And we're going to, we'll always keep in touch because now that we have our Instagram stories, like I said, we're going to be keeping in touch as far as what else we can do with our adult storytellers.
The
So I'm
potential.
excited. Oh yeah. This is about to go wonderful places because there's a lot of great storytellers on here.
Yeah.
It is. So celebrate Halloween once again with your Halloween party. It goes on till tonight, but stragglers are still welcome tomorrow. You don't have a literary character, you can still join. And I will also put that hashtag here too for people to join.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll be talking to you, sis.
Okay. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.